Download file from web in Python 3. I am creating a program that will download a .jar, Java, file from a web server, by reading the URL that is specified in the .jad file of the same game/application. I'm using Python 3.2.1. I've managed to extract the URL of the jar file from the JAD file. Every JAD file contains the URL to the jar file, but as you may imagine, the extracted value is type string. Here's the relevant function. However, I always get an error saying that the type in the function above has to be bytes, and not string. I've tried using the URL.encode, UTF-8, and also bytes, URL encoding equals UTF-8, but I'd always get the same or similar error. So basically my question is how to download a file from a server when the URL is stored in a string type?
If you want to obtain the contents of a web page into a variable, just read the response of erlib.request.erlipen. The easiest way to download and save a file is to use the erlib.request.erlretrieve function. But keep in mind that erlretrieve is considered legacy and might become deprecated, not sure why though. So the most correct way to do this would be to use the erlib.request.erlipen function to return a file-like object that represents an HTTP response and copy it to a real file using shuttle.copyFileObj. If this seems too complicated, you may want to go simpler and store the whole download in a bytes object and then write it to a file. But this works well only for small files. It is possible to extract .gz and maybe other formats, compressed data on the fly, but such an operation probably requires the HTTP server to support random access to the file.
I use requests package whenever I want something related to HTTP requests because its API is very easy to start with. First, install requests. Then the code.
I hope I understood the question right, which is, how to download a file from a server when the URL is stored in a string type. I download files and save it locally using the below code.
You can use Get, which is popular downloading shell tool for that. This URL. This will be the simplest method since it does not need to open up the destination file. Here is an example.
Here we can use erlib's legacy interface in Python 3. The following functions and classes are ported from the Python 2 module erlib, as opposed to erlib 2. They might become deprecated at some point in the future. Example, 2 lines code.
If you want to support the channel, please consider liking and subscribing.